Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are making some more beat the heat recipes for the summertime. We are going to be making 3 recipes all made in the Crockpot. All 3 of these recipes of course are budget friendly and very easy to make. I hope your family loves them just as much as we do, but let's go ahead and get started and I will show you how to make them. First up today, we're making these chicken burrito bowls, but with a hidden secret ingredient. To begin, I'm just adding in 2 chicken breasts to the bottom of my crock pot. These chicken breasts are still a little bit frozen, but that is just fine. Then add 1 package of taco seasoning, 1 cup of frozen corn, 1 can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, 1 jar of salsa, any kind will do, 1 can of drained and rinsed black beans, half of a yellow onion chopped up, and then here is my secret ingredient. This is 2 large carrots that have been shredded up, and I know you're probably thinking that's weird to put carrots in here, but when you add these carrots in here, it's a great way to add a little bit more veggies in here, and when it's done, you will never know that they were in here. Give it a slight mix and then add the lid and let this cook on a low heat for about 4 to 5 hours. Once your time is up, your chicken should be all the way cooked. You can go ahead and remove it from the crock pot and shred it up. After shredding it, just go ahead and add it right back into the crock pot. Give this one more good mix together and then this is ready to go. As you can see here, you cannot see the carrot at all. I always put this in here. My husband can't taste it. He hates carrots, but to add some extra nutrients, especially if you have kids that hate to eat their vegetables, this is great for that. It blends right in. And don't worry, you cannot taste it at all. Here is what my bowl looked like in the end. I just added a bunch of lettuce in here, avocado, hot sauce, a little bit of chipotle sauce, sour cream, and green onions onto mine, but you can add any toppings that you like. And then I also serve this over just a little bit of white rice. Next, we're making this easy crock pot pork tenderloin. To begin with this one, you will want to remove the silver skin. As you can see, this front one here, I have already removed it. And this back one, that is what it looks like on the pork tenderloin. So once you remove that, it'll make it a lot more tender and easier to eat. To season up this pork tenderloin, I'm just adding some salt, pepper, and onion powder onto both sides. Now moving on to this measuring cup, I have already added in 1 cup of beef broth. You're going to also add in a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 heaping tablespoon of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Give this a really good mix together and then set it aside. Next, you will need 1 large yellow onion. You're just going to go ahead and slice that into nice big rings. The last step before adding all this into the crock pot is we are going to sear our pork tenderloin on both sides. I just added a little bit of avocado oil into my pan and then turn the heat up nice and high, just to get some color on both sides of this pork tenderloin. Finally, over to the crock pot, we're going to go ahead and add those onions onto the bottom. This is going to create a little bed for the pork tenderloin. Lay the pork tenderloin over top of the onions the best you can, and then pour the liquid mixture over the top. Last but not least, you're going to take about half a stick of butter, slice it into little pats of butter, and then add it to the top. I put this in my crock pot on a low heat for right around 3 to 3.5 hours. Mine was a little bit under 2 pounds, so it was closer to the 3-hour mark for me. Once you get it out of the crock pot, let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes before slicing it. Here's what my plate looked like in the end. I like to eat the onions, but you can discard those if you don't want them. And I just went ahead and served this with some Brussels sprouts and a baked potato. This is a very, very easy meal to make. I just went ahead and microwaved that potato, steamed up those Brussels sprouts, and the pork tenderloin, of course, was made in the crock pot, so it was nice and tender and delicious. Last but not least, we're making some ham and cheese scalloped potatoes in the crock pot, and let me tell you, this recipe is amazing. To begin, you'll need about 2.5 to 3 pounds of potatoes. I'm using some red potatoes, but you could also use gold potatoes, yellow potatoes, whatever you want to call them, or even russet potatoes. I'm going to peel the skin off of these and then slice them pretty thin, just like this. You don't want them to be paper thin, you want them to still have a little bit of structure, just not super thin that they fall apart. I did decide to leave a little bit of skin on the potatoes just for some extra texture and color, but you can take it all off if you want to. Go ahead and repeat that for all of your potatoes until you have just the sliced potatoes. Next, I have one ham steak here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this into little tiny pieces. Now moving over to this nice big bowl, I'm adding in 1 cup of low sodium chicken broth, along with 1 cup of sour cream. You will need a whisk at this point. Go ahead and get this mixed together as well as you can. Now for the cheeses, we're adding in 1 cup of shredded medium cheddar cheese, along with about half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. For the seasonings, we're adding in 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of thyme, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then just go ahead and give this another good mix together. As you can see, into this bowl I already added the potatoes and the ham, and now we're just going to mix that sauce and the cheese into the potatoes and ham. Be sure to spray down your crock pot very, very well with some nonstick spray, because these potatoes will stick to the bottom if you don't. Now you can pour everything in your bowl into the crock pot and just use a spoon to make sure everything is evened out. Over the top, add another half cup of shredded cheddar cheese along with a 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. Add your lid and let this cook on a low heat for right around 5 to 6 hours. Once the potatoes are fork tender, this is ready to go. Here's what my plate looked like in the end. I had lots of those potatoes, of course, because they are so good. And then on the side, we just had a little bit of Italian style green beans. This meal right here is definitely a comfort meal. These potatoes are addicting, and if you think it needs any more seasoning, please feel free to add more to it when it's all done. The seasonings for us were perfect in this recipe in the end. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I do hope you enjoyed and found some good ideas in this video. Don't forget to leave me a flower down in the comments below if you did make it all the way to the end of today's video, and I will see you back here on Wednesday for a new video. Bye!